Good morning, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second episode of What If Naruto Was an Otsutsuki. Now, just a quick recap. Naruto has just started the academy and has just gotten into the academy, and he was adopted by Kakashi Hatake. Now, onto the story. Naruto was a very promising boy at the academy. Nobody knew why, but in physical power he got A's, and in knowledge he somehow exceeded even teachers in that, and that was the true mystery. They thought maybe Kakashi had taught him something, but he didn't know why he had this much knowledge either. Though, to the girl outside town, she knew why, and she was proud. However, she decided that it would soon be time to meet her new master, and the time wouldn't come for another 3 days. Naruto, after walking on the street without Kakashi, some villagers, or rather drunken shinobi, realized this and took him out into the forest. Sorry, had to take some water. Where Naruto was beaten remorselessly, and he couldn't have his life taken away, as he was still an important asset, and the shinobi knew this. However, they were just gonna beat him until he was half dead. However, just before they started, a woman, someone with the Byakugan, however, they weren't dressed as the Hyuga, came running in and kicked just one of the shinobi and sent them flying. And when I say flying, I mean broke through several trees and almost flew out over a cliff. However, he managed to deposit chakra, even in a drunken state, down to his feet to stick on the ground. The drunken shinobi got mad and tried to punch her. However, she just simply deflected the punch and threw them away as well. And Naruto instantly recognized this woman, however, he didn't know from where, and thanked her. She then took Naruto and asked if he wanted to train with her, and he said yes. So, as a first matter, she created what she said, Otsutsuki style clone, and transformed it into Naruto. Naruto wanted to test if it would work, so he just slightly punched it, and it stayed, surprisingly. So it wasn't like the shadow clone, or any clone for that matter. It was unbreakable, sorry. He was amazed at this and asked if he could learn this as that was the only jutsu he was remaining to learn for the graduation exam. Naruto was able to learn it in just a few minutes, as he was the original creator. But he noticed that his eyes began hurting again. However, he paid not much attention to it, but the mysterious girl seemed a bit shocked, and he asked her why, and she said, nothing, almost stuttering from just sheer amazement or sheer fright. Naruto, learning this to be fright, maybe thought that he was powerful, as Sasuke and some other girls at the academy, after he just launched Sasuke flying, stuttered when they were trying to defend Sasuke for him, or trying to act like he was a monster. But this girl, she had amazement in her eyes, but fear in her voice. so he was quite confused on what it was. However, he soon came over that thought. He moved on to what he thought of to be more important matters. What he thought, at least, to be more important. Naruto, at just a year after entering the academy, met this mysterious girl, and she was now teaching him. He didn't know why, but he was thankful, as nobody other than Kakashi and rarely the teachers taught him anything. And especially his original father, the fourth Hokage. He actually made he almost made Naruto fail on purpose by rigging the exam to do something. By rigging one of the exams to something that he shouldn't know, at least only for him, but the rest were normal, and Menma's and Mito's were easier. However, Naruto passed with flying colors as always. Minato got furious but realized he couldn't do much about it. But back to the training. The strange girl told him how to create what she called truth-seeking orbs, which were powerful and only destroyable by him or others of her clan. And she showed him the symbol on her back. If you look up at the top where the woman is shown, also she has paler skin, it's more white and such. However, the Pure Branch logo is there, if you should just refer to that. But pretty much, he catches on in less than a minute, as he for some reason knows how to, but at the same time he didn't. So he only created one. However, when the female just questioningly tried to attack it, it did not break, but even though she used the secret technique that could break even the original Otsutsuki gods technique of the truth-seeking orb. And so she was amazed that in a reincarnation he had gained more power. But maybe she thought that she was just weaker, so she went with that for now. Sorry, my throat really hurts. Anyway, a few days pass with this training. It's not too rigorous for Naruto. However, he knows that if a normal child of his age was to even attempt this training, they would be knocked out unconscious after just one round of it. Maybe even less. But even knowing this fact, he went on to complete 47 laps of each time, and he didn't even knock out cold. He just had to take a little short break. But every time it seemed like he could do just slightly more, and slowly but surely he was able to do 48, 49, 50, and so on. After reaching about 57 laps, he felt another sharp pain in his eye. This time he was near a puddle, so he wanted to see what was going on every time. And he saw his eyes purple with some sort of weird shape and some tomoes like the Sharingan. It looked like a more advanced Sharingan. But this time the pain didn't stop. Well, it did eventually, but the thing didn't go away. So he went over to the Otsutsuki girl, which he still hadn't learned the name of, and asked what it was. She said that it was in basics a Sharingan that had all the powers of every Sharingan that the humans knew of, and could do this at a massive level. Naruto was pleased with the answer, as finally he had something that was better than the damn Uchiha kid's Sharingan. However, he doesn't know, as before he began training with the Otsutsuki girl, he had a little bit of respect for him, but now he does not. So, something has changed during this, but he can't tell which. And the Otsutsuki style clone was just doing his normal life, having the same knowledge, that it needed, so still no changes were made into his grades. Naruto was undergoing more and more training. He slowly unlocked more and more tomoes in his eye, until there was 3, and then sometimes it was in a different shape. Sometimes there were no tomoe at all, but just a big circle of blackness with occasional white dots. But he paid no attention to this either, and the Otsutsuki girl knew that this would be the Mangekyo stage for a normal Sharingan. Also, just an explanation, this Sharingan comes with no downsides of anything other than taking slightly more chakra. Also, it is in the user's DNA, so it cannot be taken, because screw Danzo. Some rude Ambu suddenly appear as they realize that someone was training outside the village. They went to check and discovered Naruto, but he was in class, and some pale girl with the Hyuga eyes. They immediately went to attack so that they could capture the girl and bring back Naruto. They didn't really care for Naruto, but he was an important asset to Lord Danzo. The girl just did the same as she did with the drunken shinobi. However, this time, instead of actually sparing their lives, she killed them instantly, as she put even more power into it, even creating a truth-seeking orb just to chase after one guy. Naruto just continued on with his training, eventually gaining enough power to beat the Hokage in a fist fight, speed fight, jutsu fight. However, he still hadn't learned many, but his were just so powerful. And even a dojutsu fight, if the Hokage had one, which for this sake, he does not, as in canon. However, Naruto's new friend, the Otsutsuki girl, who still hadn't revealed her name, but Naruto had never bothered to ask, as he thought that she would tell him when she was ready to. Naruto asks the Otsutsuki girl if there was any way to gain more power, and so she gave him the seal that was prepared for him for his reincarnation. This seal is similar to Boruto's, with the horns and all that. However, instead of going up, it envelops him, kind of like a crown, and it appears on both sides. If you look at the God Otsutsuki, it's almost the same. It covers up the entire body with those lines, and then makes the crown horns appear. However, he still has his normal body shade color. And Naruto had also, at this point, unlocked the Jogan. However, it was still, yet he had unlocked it, but he still couldn't use it. Naruto, later on, as he kept training for approximately a year, he had only unlocked the purple Sharingan. Give it a name in the comments. And the Jogan, but he couldn't use the Jogan yet. And, of course, his Kama seal, or whatever it's called. Haven't really watched Boruto that much. As well, I don't really care. And the Otsutsuki girl still knew that he had more power, more of what these humans called dojutsus, the eye, the special eyes. She knew he had more. However, she didn't know how to tell him or how to unlock them yet. So she began training him in every Keki Genkai, an element, even yin and yang, and the shared element of that, so that he could truly become powerful. During this year, he'd also had a couple interactions with the thousand-tailed beast, as he'd learned him to be, being something that would able to flick the nine tails, and it would flick a world, and it would destroy galaxies. And the Otsutsuki god that he supposedly was even stronger. Naruto that decides that might be time to go back to the academy, and so she dispels the clone, and Naruto appears instead of the clone, just barely making the clouds. And as this is an Otsutsuki style, the clouds don't appear. Sorry. Naruto then continues with his normal life, but occasionally meeting up with the Otsutsuki girl. Still haven't gotten a name for it. And figures out that they become quite good friends. Her also being the only one other than Kakashi who truly cared about him. Naruto would continue his life as we do another, let's say, 7 year times. No, how long's the academy? I believe it's 4 years, so let's do a 4 year time skip until the end of the academy. Naruto had failed the exam once as his clone. He'd given too much chakra, so it just burst into clouds immediately. He realized this and practiced it a bit, and then took the renewed exam again, and then succeeded to do it, passing on to be a genin, which was quite an insult to his power. However, he just went on with it. He was assigned to Team Kakashi, with Naruto being the top scorer of that year, having to side with the top kunoichi, which for this one we will say that it is, let's say Hinata, because I don't like Sakura, and Ino's definitely not a top kunoichi. So let's say Hinata is. Hinata is the teammate there, and then the lowest, let's put him up with Kiba. But Kakashi and Naruto being family, Kakashi tells Naruto and all the rest to not eat breakfast as they'll puke for the bell test. And for the introductions, I kind of skipped over that, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So let's just explain those now. Kiba, he would do something like, I want to become Hokage, blah blah blah. But pretty much this version's Naruto, like as Naruto was this Team 7's Naruto. And Hinata says that she just wants to be respected by her clan, and because she hasn't really fallen for Naruto as he wasn't there to save her. And Naruto says that he doesn't have a goal yet, and he probably will find it at some point, and all of that. And the rest we probably know. Naruto likes ramen, Kiba dogs, Hinata her clan, and her friends, blah blah blah. So for the bell test, Naruto, being the incredibly wise person he is, and having seen and knowing what the thing is, he makes a plan with his team, and his team being teammates and not being like Sakura and Sasuke, they decide to listen to him as he's a teammate and not an enemy. Naruto is thankful for this, that they actually listened. And so their plan continues, which is to send in Kiba for a distraction assault, while Hinata attempts to go on him from behind, and knock out a few chakra points if possible. As yes, she's unlocked the Byakugan. Don't worry about it. She's just like very emotional here, blah blah blah. But she's cooled her head, so it's fine. So while Naruto does a sneak attack on the bells. Now Naruto knew that this is a teamwork assignment, so he would just hand out the bells to the others, pretend to walk away, and then have Kakashi stop him and explain the entire thing about how it was a team exercise. So the plan sets in action. It goes pretty well. Kakashi gets only 2 chakra points blocked before he notices and kicks Hinata away as he deals with the distraction. However, just as the distraction is dealt with, he attempts to pull the bells to show that they didn't get any, and immediately, and Kiba and Hinata go up to the wooden posts, stand on top of them as Naruto appears and throws them the bells. Naruto then jumps off. Kakashi never realized when Naruto got the bells, but he was thankful that his adopted son, was so strong that even he could not notice him. But Naruto begins walking away, and Kakashi stops him and says, "Wait, that's not the point of this exam." "I know," Naruto then responds, shocking Kakashi. Kakashi then says, "Oh, so you know, then explain it yourself then." "It was a teamwork exercise," Naruto replies to that. "Therefore, I made a plan with Hinata and Kiba that Kiba would be the distraction to distract you. Hinata would then knock out as many chakra points to stop you from doing any ninjutsu. However, unfortunately, but not her fault, she only managed to block 2, which would have stopped your efficiency a tiny bit, which also stopped your eyes from responding as quickly, allowing me to take the bells directly underneath your nose and appear with them. And then, as this is a teamwork exercise, I just gave them to Hinata and Kiba, even though I knew we would already have passed as we made a strategy," Naruto explains. And this shocks Kakashi, as this is quite smart for a boy his age, but he realizes that he got top grades in all of the classes and probably would have realized even sooner. So he was probably just lucky that he didn't get killed. Kakashi passes them all and immediately goes to the Hokage to say that he requests C-rank missions from the start, as his squad is quite capable of that, as it's both a frontal attack and a scouting squad with Hinata's Byakugan, Kiba's smell, and Naruto. And Kakashi doesn't know this yet, but Naruto has the purple Sharingan. Actually, let's call it the Otsutsuki Sharingan. So, they all pass and go home, excitedly. Kakashi stops Naruto and asks if they should go for some ramen. Naruto happily obliges, and thanks the Thousand Tails for telling him that it was a team exercise. But he had almost figured it out himself. But Naruto creates a clone to go with Kakashi, which he feels sad about, as it is the only other person who cares about him. However, he felt that talking to this Otsutsuki girl, she still told him to call her, was also liked him. Therefore, he should tell her too. So Naruto rushes over to tell her without Kakashi noticing. No, of course, Naruto having such incredible speed. and Naruto makes it to her while she's still just sitting there with a fox in her on her lap, just relaxing there. Naruto happily exclaims that he passed the exam, and she congratulates him, which makes him quite proud. And she says that he probably knows that he has a dojutsu. However, he also has another dojutsu, the Jogan, and they should work on activating that one. Which Naruto doesn't really know what the Jogan is, as he's never heard of it. But he exclaims that he's happy to learn anything, no matter what. And for this one, as not really that much is known about the Jogan, I'll be making up some abilities myself. If that's okay. But that's all gonna be for next episode. See you all there, and if I haven't said this before, good morning, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good day.